this morning. United Airlines grounded thousands of flights worldwide due to what is called a network connectivity issue and not a cyber breach. Let me first bring in Allison Kosick. She's at the New York Stock Exchange as we're waiting to see all of this trading resume. Well, what's the word you have, Allison?
Well, the official word initially was the exchange was going to open between 2:45 and 3 o'clock. Now we're hearing 3:05, and that actually seems like more of a certainty. And you can just sort of feel the anticipation in the air. I actually see some of the traders getting ready for trading to resume, and that's essentially what's going to happen. Trading will resume. The question was whether or not trading would resume or they'd start kind of like a new trading day, but that trading will resume. And I just want to say this, it's important, one trader told me, that the stock market reopen to close. And what that means is that these mutual funds that trade here, that these stocks that trade here, they need a closing price. And they don't get that closing price if you don't have the closing bell. So this exchange has to reopen to close, and they're banking on it today, Brooke.
Okay, it's been since 11:32 this morning Eastern Time. Allison Kosick will come back to you and see how the markets respond. So stand by, please, for that. I've got more breaking news right now as I continue on tonight. Anderson Cooper sits down with Donald Trump. We were just talking to Carl Bernstein, who said Donald Trump was the biggest gift to the Democratic Party. Listen, you know he has really quintupled down on these comments about Mexicans and immigrants, and those comments are costing the Republican presidential candidate dearly thus far, although when you look at polls, it hasn't cost him that much. Let me bring in Anderson, who just got mic'd up and sat down.
Well, it didn't cost him that much on polls when he's right about immigration. And you guys were saying the same thing. If you guys want to hear out what I'm saying, go to the back of my videos. My first videos are on immigration when the border crisis was breaking out. And check out how all these guys were talking about Mexicans. At least Donald Trump said he loved them. They never said that. They said you got scabies and lice crawling down your face. They said you had measles, typhoid fever, H1N1. So who's really talking bad about you? I never heard Donald Trump say that.
Illegal immigrant. So obviously that raises questions of hypocrisy. Is Donald Trump on the one hand saying that illegal immigration is killing this country, it's hurting this country, taking jobs from
illegal immigration, it is killing the country because it kills jobs. Because where are we going to put these people when you have a set state with 50,000 people in there, and you got 25,000 jobs and another 10,000 comes in? Where are you going to put those people at for job placement?
They said a number of those 15 came here illegally through asylum. They're now legal, but that a number of them did say they're illegal. Isn't it hypocritical for you saying that illegal immigration is killing this country to be employing illegal immigrants?
I read the story, and we're building a great hotel on Pennsylvania Avenue, and it's being done beautifully, and I'm very cognizant of that. And by the way, that story does not name any names. I'd love them if they could give us the names, but they said they spoke to one or two, but they don't name them, and they don't even know if it's true.
Or they don't even show the faces during the interview.
Mostly from El Salvador, Honduras, Guatemala, have earned U.S. citizenship or legal status through immigration programs targeting Central Americans fleeing civil wars or natural disasters. Others quietly acknowledge that they remain in the country illegally. They don't.
They have to give us the names because we have.
But illegal, or they're not going to give you names.
They have to give us the names, and I have to say this. We believe so strongly. I hired a very big contractor, one of the most prestigious, one of the best in the world, to build the building. It's their responsibility to make sure they have.
Doesn't the buck stop with you, though?
Yes,
you're paying their salary.
Oh, absolutely. We have gone out of our way to make sure that everybody in that building is legal, and we do have some that became legal. And wait a minute, we have many, I think, that became, frankly, me, you, everybody. I mean, ultimately, we were all sort of in the group of immigrants, right? But we have done that to the absolute letter of the law. We're very, very careful.
But if the Washington Post can go there and talk to 15 people...
Notice how Anderson Cooper is cutting them off.
I wish they would give us some names. We would get them out immediately.
But you must have a guy on the job site.
We have more than one guy, right. And we check it probably more carefully than any job that was ever built. Anderson, you have either anywhere from 11 to 34 million illegal immigrants in this country. They're all over the place. Nobody knows even where they come from. They probably come some from the Middle East. You don't know where they're coming from. We check on that building probably more carefully than anybody that's ever built a building before. And I think from what I heard, and I just checked it this morning because I asked a question because I read the article also, we are absolutely in beautiful, perfect shape. Now, I wish they'd give us the names. We would get rid of them immediately.
This isn't the first time, though, this has been an issue. Daily Beast today, there's an article. I don't know if you've seen it. The headline says, they're talking about the building we're sitting in right now. They're saying Trump Tower was built on undocumented immigrant backs.
How many years ago was that?
This was, what,
35 years
35 years ago.
Yeah, they said 35 years ago.
But this was a court case. 200 illegal immigrants, Polish workers, guys working for $5.
Anderson, I hire a contractor. The contractor then hires a subcontractor. They have people. I don't know. I don't remember. That was so many years ago. 35 years ago, they said we had some.
This was a court case settled in 1999. You settled.
Okay, it's all right. I mean, it's fine. I mean, I remembered the case. Frankly, I remember it very well. We hire contractors. The contractor, very highly prestigious, very good. They go out, hire subcontractors. Sometimes the subcontractors will have people working, but you know, it's pretty far down.
This was 200 Polish workers working without hard hats. Pretty noticeable on a union job.
When you have to go back 35 years to tell me about something, I think that's pretty pathetic, to be honest with you.
Do you think, can you guarantee that you don't have illegal or undocumented workers working for you in hotel projects or various projects?
I can't guarantee it. How can anyone? We have 34 million in the country. I used to hear 11, now I hear it's 34 million. I can't guarantee anything. But I can say this, we work very hard to make sure that everybody is legal as opposed to illegal.
There you have it, Donald Trump saying he can't guarantee that there aren't other illegal immigrants working in some of his projects, but that he works very hard to try to make sure there aren't.
Just quickly, while I have you for another 60 seconds before we go to the New York Stock Exchange, I want you to reiterate the point that you were making with him that was in that Daily Beast article that what Trump Tower was built.
Daily Beast has put in an article that there was a court case, lawsuit brought against him years ago, that the Trump Tower, the building that was there originally, which was Bonwit Teller,
which is where you were sitting,
right, was actually taken down and the land cleared by some 200 illegal immigrants, Polish workers who were working for $5 a day, $5 an hour, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. They ultimately sued. It went on for a long period of time. Trump said he did not know, in the lawsuit, said that he didn't know that there were illegal immigrants working on that job site until later on.
Okay, stay with me. We're going to pivot back to New York Stock Exchange, but I have more with Anderson's interview as he presumably asked him about some of these other candidates in this race. So we'll have Anderson back in a second. But let me go to the New York Stock Exchange, to Allison Cossack, who's been watching very closely and been talking to some of those traders. Well, what is the latest guidance you have? Are we talking, what, 60 seconds from now?
Very well could be, Brooke. That is the word from the New York Stock Exchange, that the stock exchange will officially reopen in 1 minute. Now, some stocks have already opened. That's why you see this crowd around me. I'm actually near a trading post where some stocks have reopened, but the broad range of stocks that are traded here on the floor, we hear from the New York Stock Exchange, will open in about 40 seconds. You know, there was a lot of skepticism whether or not the exchange was going to be able to go ahead and get things up and running. And you talk to many traders.
You'll wait till the TPP happens. You think this is something?
Even if it was for only a half hour, it's important to open so they can close. Merely because it's important that you get those closing values on those stocks for those mutual funds at the end of the day. And also for confidence reasons, they're looking for the New York Stock Exchange to reopen. Everybody anticipating it. You can see the commotion here on the floor. Everybody looking at their computers, waiting for them to start. A couple seconds away. Let's see if that's going to happen. And I'm hearing some applause. I'm not seeing it yet. Are you guys open? Are you open?
Yeah, it looks like it's open.
There's a little confusion, but it looks like it's open, but they're not getting orders at this moment, Brooke. I'm going to walk out of the frame for a second. Is it open? It's open, but they're not getting orders. So the question is what kind of connectivity is going on between the brokers and the New York Stock Exchange as well? That was actually a question this morning, whether or not the exchange was even going to open. One trader was wondering if the exchange was even going to open today because of connectivity issues between brokers and the New York Stock Exchange. I'm going to step out once again and see if things are working.
Go for it. We're going to stay on this picture. We're going to stay on this picture. You figure out, Allison Cossack can officially figure out if the exchange is still open. Keep in mind, listen, in a typical trading day, as it will today, will close in about 15 minutes from now. I can see Allison looking around. She's still asking. This is live news, folks. We're doing this on the fly, trying to figure out all the commotion around her. Go ahead, Allison.
A lot of confusion, Brooke. Everybody's shaking their heads. Yes, it's open, but their faces don't look happy. happy, which means they're not getting orders. So it could be that the exchange is open and all is not perfect at this moment, but it is open for business.
Okay. I'm going to let you go. Let's make sure we confirm that. I'm going to go back to Anderson, and as soon as you get that officially, we'll go back. We're just going to bounce around here at the top of the hour. Back to Anderson.
Live news.
Live news, people. Live news. So you just sat down with Donald Trump. We were hearing some of his comments, really totally doubling down on all things.
What's also interesting, you know, there was a retweet that was sent out from Donald Trump's on Twitter feed, and that was then later on deleted, according to the Wrap. And in it talked about Jeb Bush and Jeb Bush's wife, and suggesting perhaps that Jeb Bush's position on illegal immigration was influenced by his wife, by his relationship with his wife. I talked to Donald Trump.
But remember, Jeb Bush is the one that said he's a Mexican on his voter's registration card. Remember that.
There was a tweet that caused you problems that was rescinded. It was a retweet about Jeb Bush's wife. You said the original tweet said Jeb Bush has to like the Mexican illegals because of his wife. That was somebody else said that. You retweeted it. Did you authorize that? Did you regret that?
No, I didn't authorize it. But I will say this. Look, I have millions of people on Twitter and Facebook. I think I have over 5 million people on both. It's a lot of people. It's sort of like...
So do you regret that?
It's sort of like owning a newspaper, a big one without the losses. It's good. I don't regret anything. Look, it was a retweet. It wasn't me. And it was actually, if you look at it carefully, it was a retweet of a Breitbart story that was a very good story, a very fair story.
A Breitbart story, Andrew Breitbart.
But do I regret? No, I don't regret it. I mean, you know, I would say that he would. If my wife were from Mexico, I think I would have a soft spot for people from Mexico. I can understand.
Do you think that influences his position on illegal immigration?
I think it could.
Come on, Anderson Cooper. You know that, you fucking dumbass.
I know he does. I guess she's a lovely woman, by the way. So if he loves his wife, and she's from Mexico, I think it probably has an influence on him, yes. I can understand that.
No regrets.